Hello there, it's lovely to see you again on VITV with Into Vietnam, which updates business scenes around the country. Here are the headlines. Hanoi targets economic growth of 8.5 to 9% in 2014. Ho Chi Minh City attracts $2.5 billion to its industrial parks, and the sports sector is likely to exceed its annual growth target. The Prime Minister has just asked the State Bank of Vietnam to direct commercial banks to boost disbursement of 30 trillion dong package for businesses and people. After 6 months of deployment of 30 trillion dong housing assistance package for low-income people, to this point only about 1% of the amount has been disbursed. With sluggish progress, businesses and people complain on access to capital, while banks don't dare to lend. Many objective and subjective reasons have been pointed out by management agencies and experts, in which the key reason is due to short supply of eligible products. Among the projects proposed in the 30 trillion dong loan package, many have not yet completed procedures. The capital city of Vietnam targets 8.5 to 9% economic growth in 2014. The data was released at the meeting for 2014 socio-economic and budget collection plans held by the Hanoi People Committee recently. Hanoi also set the target of 126.2 trillion dong or $6 billion of budget collection, and export values increased by 8.5 to 9% in 2014. The chairman of the City People Committee, Nguyễn Thế Thao, asked agencies and units to strive with high-spirit attitude since the beginning of the year to fulfill its target, set priority for removing difficulties for enterprises, strengthening production and stepping to recover economic growth and get a higher level versus 2013. The city will continue to implement measures to control prices, inflation, and ensure social security, social welfare, keep firmly administrative reform, strengthen administrative discipline, continuously implement public inspection. In other news, Ho Chi Minh City has attracted a combined investment of $2.5 billion in industrial parks and export processing zones in 2011. As of this year, newly registered and adjusted investment in the city industrial park and export processing zones reached $590 million, a year-on-year rise of 43.3%, of which $370 million is foreign investment, up 78.2% from 2012. The Southern Hub currently has more than 1,200 valid projects, with investment totaling $7.5 billion. The surge of investment, especially in industrial parks and export processing zones, has helped to improve industrial production in the city. The achievements are attributed to the city's efforts in strengthening administrative formality reform and creating incentives to stimulate its foreign investment inflow. To attract additional investment next year, the city continues to further improve its business climate and pay more attention to high and clean technology projects. According to the Vietnam Internet Network Information Center, over 90,000 new .vn domains were activated in the first 11 months of this year, bringing the total number of national domain names to 263,900.
The increase has helped the country to keep its number one position in the Southeast Asia for national domain registration and activation. Domains with Vietnamese names accounted for 167,166. The Vietnam Internet Network Information Center said it earned a revenue of 143 billion dong, or $6.8 million from domain activation and subscription fees in 2013, 15% above its annual target. According to the Ministry of Information and Communications, Internet service providers in Vietnam earned 15 trillion dong, more than $714 million in revenue last year, 6.5 trillion dong or $238 million coming from third-generation network services. Between 2009 and 2013, the number of Internet users increased by 170% and broadband availability climbed 7.5 times compared with 2005-2009. The number of Internet users is expected to reach 60 million by 2018, with total revenue from Internet services and content hitting 100 trillion dong or $4.7 billion.
And coming up next is updated information of import and export activities.
According to the Ministry of Planning and Investment or MPI, Vietnam's exports in 2013 are expected to earn $132 billion or over 16% higher than last year's figure. The ministry reported that with its imports estimated at $132.5 billion, Vietnam has a trade deficit of around $0.5 billion, accounting for 0.28% of its export turnover. The number is much lower than the set targets by the government and the National Assembly. Key export items were agroforestry and agricultural products, telephones, fuels, fertilizers, and garment and textile products. The remarkable achievements in the export sector were attributed to Vietnam's recent progress in free trade agreement or FTA negotiations and its active participation in the World Trade Organization or WTO, as well as other forms of regional and international cooperation. Vietnam's export earnings from the Japanese market in the first 10 months of this year rose 2.8% to $11.11 billion compared to the same period last year. The garment and textile sector was the highest earner, with $1.94 billion. It made up 20% of the Japanese market share, or 21.8% higher than the same period last year. At present, Japan accounts for more than 13% of Vietnam's garment export market share. Vietnam's key exports to Japan included crude oil, transport vehicles, and spare parts, and chemicals in particular, which rose 56.8% in revenue from a year earlier.
The Vietnam Pepper Association says pepper exports are likely to beat 130,000 to 135,000 tons this year for a record value of $900 million, up 12% from last year. In the first 10 months, 123,000 tons were exported for $817 million, an increase of 19.7% in volume and 17.1% in value. The association says both export volumes and prices had risen this year. Global pepper supply is much lower than demand, which has kept prices high. In this situation, pepper exports will reach $1 billion soon. Vietnam exports a spice to more than 80 countries and territories, with the US, EU, and Asia being the largest importers. Shopping spree has become a norm at the year-end period. However, economic downturn in the past few years has taken its toll in consumer confidence in 2013. In a bid to boost domestic demand, both businesses and banks have applied their own strategies, and this has brought about positive impacts on the market. More insights in the following report. This month's expenditure often rises at the end of the year. Amid economic turmoil in the past few years, he has been more careful in choosing a place for shopping. He says apart from product quality, prices also of great importance.
Tôi thì cũng vừa mới cưới vợ thì tôi cũng hay đi xem xét các cái đồ ấy, nhất là điện máy với lại các cái đồ vật dụng trong gia đình. Thì tôi cũng tham quan các siêu thị quanh đây thì tôi thấy thứ nhất cái siêu thị này nó cũng thoải mái, không vang khám phá. Thứ hai là cái tôi xem giá nó hợp lý. Và thứ ba nữa cái chỗ để xe tất cả đều thuận tiện. Thì tôi cũng qua để mua các cái đồ ở đây. Đấy mà thời buổi kinh tế khó khăn này thì cô biết thì mình càng tiết kiệm được cái nào càng tốt. Cái thứ hai nữa mình đi tìm chỗ nào có uy tín để mình mua về.
Understanding that the year-end is a booming time for shopgoers, businesses and shopping centers have launched their best promotion and sales programs. The manager of Mega Plaza says good prices and high quality products are the most important factors to attract customers.
Tình hình kinh tế tuy khó khăn nhưng chúng tôi phục vụ kinh doanh nhằm mục đích vì người tiêu dùng. Cho nên là chúng tôi sẽ có giá hàng nó hợp lý và dịch vụ chăm sóc khách hàng tốt hơn.
Không chỉ doanh nghiệp mà thời điểm
Not
này,
only
các ngân
businesses
hàng
but
cũng có
banks
chiến
have
lược
also
riêng để kích
rushed
cầu
to
tiêu
boost
dùng.
domestic
Xu
consumption
hướng ngân hàng
demand.
liên kết với các
There's a
trung tâm
rising
mua
trend
sắm,
of
siêu
banks
thị, các
collaborating
nhà
with
phân phối hàng tiêu
supermarkets,
dùng ngày càng nở
mega
rộ.
malls and
Động thái này
distributors.
không chỉ mang đến
The
những lợi
move
ích đơn
has not
kết
only
cho khách hàng,
benefited
siêu
consumers
thị,
in
mà
different
còn là
ways,
cơ hội để
but
các
also
ngân hàng
lead
dẫn
them
dắt khách
to
hàng
use
đi theo hướng
non-cash
thanh toán
payment
phi tiền mặt
models.
ở Việt Nam.
Chúng tôi cũng kết hợp rất nhiều với những cái ngành hàng tiêu dùng, những cái chuỗi đại siêu thị lớn ví dụ như là Big C, Metro, rồi các cái chuỗi điện máy ví dụ như là MediaMarkt, Pico, Trần Anh, rồi Thiên Hòa, những cái nhà cung cấp dịch vụ điện thoại di động ví dụ như Viễn Thông A vân vân. Thì rất nhiều những cái ngành hàng đó là những cái ngành hàng rất là thiết thực đối với nhu cầu thực tế của khách hàng. Và khi khách hàng họ vào đấy họ chi tiêu bằng thẻ, họ thấy thuận lợi, được giảm giá, không phải mang tiền mặt, thì đấy là những cái mà dần dần sẽ mang lại những cái thói quen rất tốt cho họ.
Thì mình nghĩ là cái thanh toán qua thẻ bây giờ nó cũng khá là phổ biến đối với tất cả mọi người, mà khi sử dụng cái hoạt động thanh toán qua đi đến cửa hàng để mua hoặc là siêu thị. Thì thứ nhất thì mình nghĩ là cái việc thanh toán qua thẻ thì hiện giờ các cửa hàng hay là siêu thị cũng có rất là nhiều các cái chương trình khuyến mại khác nhau. Ví dụ như là giảm giá 10 đến 20% khi khách hàng mua sản phẩm. Thì điều đấy khi mình thanh toán qua thẻ thì mình cũng được cái giảm cái phần tiền đấy. Và cái thứ hai nữa là cái việc thanh toán qua thẻ cũng rất là tiện lợi, bởi vì mình sẽ không sử dụng cái tiền mặt quá nhiều. Và cái thứ ba nữa là cái mỗi lần mà trong ví hết tiền chẳng hạn thì mình lại phải ra ngân hàng mình rút tiền. Và cái bây giờ thì ngân hàng đã tính cái phí rút tiền rồi, và mỗi lần rút tiền thì mình thấy vừa trừ phí và cái thứ hai là cũng bất tiện nữa. Cho nên là mình nghĩ là thanh toán qua thẻ là tiện lợi và hữu hiệu nhất.
Changes in prices always cause great concerns among consumers, but the active role of businesses and banks have made the year-end shopping atmosphere more vibrant. Above all, the key solution to boost consumption is true values and benefits that businesses and banks can bring to their customers. The program will wrap up with local gold prices, forex, and stock markets. Well, that's the news on VITV. Thanks for your time with us. We'll see you again this time tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.